Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Mission Men podcast, brought to you by Mission Media Group. What are you saying? Stop.
Huh?
Stop.
What?
Just stop.
Mission Media Group. I'm sorry, Mission Men. See, I'm all over the place. Mission Men podcast, the podcast about literally nothing and everything, and just a little bit in between. So, guys,
You know what's really funny about this? Hold on, I gotta stop you for that.
Yeah, go for it.
Cut the beat.
So, no, here we go. So it's so funny on the first episode.
Mm-hmm.
You know our tagline.
Yeah.
Do you realize that we've said it wrong like for 3 episodes in a row?
Huh?
People would show about nothing, everything, and anything in between.
Yeah.
Some people brought it up to me. My daughter brought it up to me. He said, every time you say it different.
Oh, that's funny.
Episode 2, it's different. Episode 3, it's different.
An example?
We said a show about one time he would say nothing, anything, and everything, and then it would be nothing.
Right.
It would always change.
As long as I get those 3
3
words
words
in there, we're good.
Well,
So we've been hitting, you've been batting 1,000.
Yeah, for today.
For today.
Right.
At least, guys, I can carry the team and always get our outro the same exact way every time. So I'm glad I can at least to do that for you guys. A lot of you can't really be on my wave. Surf's up.
I was trying not to say anything. I was like,
I know, dude. We were on the same wavelength. Let's just let
We're gonna
John
look at him. We're gonna
you know
look
what? Speaking of waves, we were just gonna let John ride that out and just see how long he would have gone. But the surf stuff got me. That got me. That was
got
funny.
me.
That was a good
I was
one.
laughing.
That was good. Hey, that was better than the first one. First one was like, oh, now you're doing it. Okay, got it.
Reverse psychology.
This is our Super Bowl episode.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
So we should say that.
touchdown.
We got off the track.
Goal!
Super Bowl is coming up
Golly.
this Sunday.
This Sunday, it is coming up, and we are excited for football team A to play football team B.
So who you have for the
What?
Super Bowl? Who do you want? Who do you want?
Anybody but the Chiefs, honestly. I don't care.
That's me too.
Yeah. How about you, John?
Man, if we could pull the Rangers into the finals,
Oh gosh.
that would be
The
phenomenal.
finals?
The finals.
Yeah, if we could get the Rangers there, I mean, it would sure be a sweep of the leg.
So here's the deal. Even
They'd
though this
probably
is,
have to drink a Hail Mary.
Okay.
well, you got that part. There you go.
Yeah.
So even though this is the Super Bowl episode, and we're taping it now, the teams have already been decided who in the Super Bowl by the time this airs.
Right.
I'm gonna go for the Ravens and the Lions. That's who I want to see in the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
the
that'd
Ravens
be
and the
cool.
Lions.
It's a good choice.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That'd be great.
Yep. I like that. Yeah, John, who do you think who would win Ravens, Lions?
Well, considering that I'm on to y'all, these teams aren't even in the rankings.
Oh, they are.
They actually are.
They
You didn't
actually
make
are.
them up?
No,
You're
we
not setting
didn't
me
make
up?
them
They're
That's
actually
not
real.
a setup.
Oh,
They're
I
real.
thought I was. Oh, I'm not smart as I thought. So the Lions are the Ravens?
The Lions. That's who I want in the Super Bowl. I mean,
Right now, as we're filming, there's only 4 teams
left.
Can you give me those?
Yes. So the
Yes.
Chiefs, the Chiefs and
The
Ravens.
Chiefs and the Chiefs play the Ravens.
Okay. Yeah. And then
And
the Lions and the 49ers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Those are the last 4 teams to play each other.
Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Trivia: which city are the 49ers from?
Well, there's 52 states, so they have to be the 49th.
Yeah.
Probably
Well, these
Hawaii.
are the most sports teams are from cities, not necessarily states.
Oh, so it's a city?
Pretty much.
Yeah, that's what I meant when I said city.
The 49ers are from what?
I think I said city.
City. 49ers. Here's your quiz. 49ers.
49ers?
Yes.
I honestly have no clue.
All right, so San Francisco.
I don't even want to guess.
All right,
San
so
Francisco?
San Francisco. So, all right, so real quick, we kind of went off the track.
Do you
there.
know
We're
what's in
totally
San
off the track.
Francisco?
What?
Do you know what's in San Francisco?
The Golden Gate Bridge. Okay, great.
That was funny.
Oh my gosh. Okay, yes. The look of approval from you was just priceless. All right, so let's kind of back up here real quick.
Approval. Are you making fun of me?
No. So
Get it?
yeah.
Hey, no, next episode.
Oh yeah, next episode upcoming. So, guys, we just want to say thank you so much for checking out the Mission Men podcast. We just love just hanging out with you and just being goofy, being silly, having fun, but also getting real and having some good conversations about the Lord and just hopefully encouraging you. So if you guys don't mind, just dropping a like, rating, sharing, all those kinds of things. John, is there something you want to share with the class? Or
Paul
what?
brought lemonade out of nowhere, and now I'm jealous.
Home Depot.
So
Home Depot. Oh, when you went and got the tools?
Yes.
well, there you.
Sorry.
So anyways, so we just appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Please leave comments, emails. We want to pray with you. We want to hear what you want us to talk about. Just all these kinds of things. So we want you to be a part of it. So thank you so much for making us a part of your life. Okay, so today we got a great episode. I'm super excited about it. So one is we're going to dive into John a little bit as far as he plays flag football. And we're going to kind of hear about that experience. So as you have already learned, John doesn't have the most knowledge when it comes to sports. If you've kind of listened here a little bit. And,
I would say I'm knowledgeable in
what way?
4.
Okay.
So I already know that.
Yeah, that's good. What's that from?
Phil Mickelson.
Okay, so I'm surprised you even know a golfer.
That was really cool. That was good.
Haters, get off me.
And then, guys, you definitely want to stick around for this. I tell Paul, I'm honestly super excited.
Oh gosh,
Paul is kind of a star.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, don't even say that.
And not just a star.
Don't even
a
say
star
that.
with 6 angles.
What?
I don't know what that means.
A normal star has 5. You have 6.
Oh, okay, gotcha. See, John, you're on another level. We're just not.
We're not on your level.
No,
astronomical.
I'm still dealing with the Bills losing last week, so I'm having a hard time with this.
Yeah, so we'll dive into all that. So please stick around. We got an amazing story of Paul's past life a little bit, which I'm super excited to dive in. But all right, so Paul, let's talk about this. I could hear the hurt in your voice. How are you feeling? What's going on? Because it was just this past week.
What? Are you Darth Vader?
Yeah, the Bills lost.
Yeah,
and it was how they lost. Mm-hmm. You know, so you have to understand.
Paul's a massive Bills fan.
So I was around. My first game was in '73 that I went to at the Bills Stadium to see OJ play.
OJ Simpson.
OJ Simpson back in the day.
Come on, I've told you I'm knowledgeable.
There you go.
But playing with
there
me.
you go. And then we went to 4 straight Super Bowls, which no other team has done. 4 straight Super Bowl appearances. And we lost all 4 in a row. All 4.
Dang, y'all suck.
What?
I'm just kidding.
But here's the deal. So the first one, we were winning. We could have won. So we were running down. The clock was almost ticking down. 4th quarter. All we had to do was basically kick a chip shot field goal to win the game.
Like, do you know how far away it was, the field goal?
20-something yards.
Okay.
20 something. So chip shot, extra point.
That's very short in football world.
Yeah, 27 yards.
Max 30. It was short.
Sure.
And if we had kicked this, there was no time left on the clock. The Bills would have won their first Super Bowl ever in history, and he missed the kick. It went wide right.
Yeah, that's like the famous call, wide right.
Wide right.
Yeah,
so now rewind yourself to last weekend. Josh Allen gets us down in the 4th quarter. He gets us all the way down. This was just this past weekend. Gets us all the way down. He does his job. The kicker comes out, misses it wide right.
See, that's when you have to.
That's when I'm like, how could this happen to the Bills?
See, as a coach myself, I would never allow that player to step back on any turf.
Well, it wasn't the same player. That was like a 50-year difference.
Scott Norwood was the first. That was 92, I think it was.
See, that's the first problem that I was thinking about was 30. Why would you still keep this guy on the team?
Tyler Bass was this kicker.
Tyler Holt, Lauren's boyfriend.
So John, I want just really quick, just a very quick rabbit trail. You realize that a lot of people listening don't know who these people are.
Whose people are?
The people you're talking about.
Yeah. You just brought up somebody from church.
When?
Just now.
Did I ask?
Okay, anyways.
My gosh.
Okay. Anyways, what were you even talking about?
Football.
We
were going to talk about flag football, or we were giving the overview of the podcast.
So Paul had to relive
Oh, that was agony.
Just a really
Agony.
I don't even think I could actually talk to anyone the next day.
Really? It's that serious for you?
The Bills are very serious to me and my entire
He's like
family.
Isaac.
So Paul, here's an interesting
Or
thing.
you.
But I agree, but I've actually implemented. It's called the 2-minute rule.
Yes. What's the 2-minute rule?
2-minute rule. So I'm obviously, I'm wearing an Ohio State hat. I'm a huge Ohio State Buckeyes fan.
We can't tell it's backwards.
Right?
Buckeyes Nation. Buckeyes Nation, it says.
Okay.
Yeah, Buckeye Nation.
Sorry.
So, anyways, so the 2-minute rule. So what I do is I say, okay, I'm gonna give myself 2 minutes right after a game's over and we lose. I can be mad, I can be upset for 2 minutes, and then after that 2 minutes is over, I literally say this out loud to myself. I say, okay, these are 18 to 22-year-old kids playing a game, and this should have no direct effect on my life whatsoever. And then I try to calm myself down. So it used to be 2 days. Okay, so it used to be long. So I've worked my way down to 2 minutes.
Yeah, but you understand,
You're
my first
good.
game was 50 years ago.
And
I've been following the Bills for 50 years.
Have they ever
I
won
get it.
for you once?
They never won a Super Bowl.
No.
Not once they've won a Super Bowl for you?
No.
In 50 years?
In 50 years.
Are you kidding?
But
See,
there's a lot of teams that haven't even
What?
gone to the Super Bowl yet.
What?
And still in the NFL. Every team has not gone to the Super Bowl yet.
Right.
But the fact that we have gone 4 times, we couldn't get one of
I'm
those.
sorry.
So, anyways, we bring all that
Feel bad
up
now.
is because, obviously we're going through some football grief. I mean, I know I went through some this year with the Buckeyes.
Good grief.
But we're gonna make this relatable for everybody in case you're not a football fan. So our friend John here has taken up flag football. And so a lot of your buddies.
First, we were shocked to hear that.
Right, yeah.
We were
Really?
we were
Y'all know
shocked.
I'm an athlete.
No, we know
Well,
we know
no,
you were-
but-
What just happened there?
So all right, what made you want to play flag football? Well, let's start there.
Isaac.
Your buddy, your best friend Isaac, one of your best friend Isaac.
Isaac knows football really well, but
Okay.
I've played football for funsies with the homies a lot before.
Yeah.
And I'm a basketball player like by default. Like
Right.
I like play basketball and I know that sport. And I'm best at basketball because that's the sport that I played the most. But I like football too. I like running. I like throwing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would consider myself athletic.
Okay, so you play with your buddies, and so
I
they're
think
like,
my
"Hey,"
answers are too long whenever you ask me questions because
They are.
always, yeah.
yeah, I try to move it.
No,
along.
thank you. I appreciate that.
No, I'm just
Good
I'm-
point.
I'm messing
Good point.
with you.
There you go.
So yeah, no, we got the point, John. So I'm totally joking,
All right,
dude.
Brandon.
Yeah. Oh, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
No. So all right, so you're playing with your buddies. You're having fun, just goofing around. And then so are they like, "Hey, we got a team, and we want you to be on it," or how did that work out?
So Isaac was like, dude, we should join a flag football team. And I was like, oh, bet, let's do it.
Okay,
So
So you had that, and then what happened, like at the first practice or whatever? Like,
Well-
what position were you playing and all that stuff?
we just had our practice 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Our first game hasn't even happened yet.
Oh,
Because of the
But
snow, I guess.
by the
right?
time this podcast drops, it will have happened.
okay.
Yes, because of this torrential snow pour we had
Snowpocalypse.
in Mount Juliet, the snowpocalypse.
Snowmageddon.
Look at that
Snowmageddon.
camera
Snowmageddon.
monitor. It's about to die. You see it's flickering? It's
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of spooky. Anyways,
the LED's going to die.
yeah.
Right, it's not the camera, right?
No, not the camera. The camera's plugged in.
Cool,
Sorry,
cool.
guys. You didn't even know that. Anyways,
We'll edit that out. Keep going.
maybe we might keep it raw. However, we were discussing this plan to play
Right.
flag football, and we had our first. What was the question? I don't even remember what we're. I'm just mumbling until I figured what
You're the meme of Michael Scott, where sometimes I start a sentence and I just don't know where it's gonna go.
Sure.
And so
Who's Michael Scott?
Yeah, exactly. So all right, so you're playing at practice,
Right.
And so you're playing. And what position did they assign you on the team?
Quarterback, bro.
So they assigned you
playing.
quarterback. So
You want me to explain why?
Do you
You go ahead.
please explain why?
Okay. So y'all made look. I will admit I don't know much about football. I barely know anything, and I
Right.
don't keep up with it. I don't watch games. I don't care.
Right.
But
right.
when I play it, I enjoy it. I thought I was fast at running, but I'm not as fast as I used to be. I actually look so stupid when I run. Miles said I run like I got a stick up my butt, and I just like straight run with my spine straight and just like. Anyways, we might cut that out. But anyway, so I tried quarterbacking.
Okay.
We had someone else playing
quarterbacking.
we had someone else quarterbacking for the first part of the practice, and then we did. After that, I was like, let me try. So I tried. I scored a touchdown. Dubs.
You scored a touchdown?
Wait. So did you throw it or did you run it?
I threw it.
Okay.
Like
so you threw a touchdown.
Every pass was complete.
Touchdown.
Within 2 downs, we scored. That was the first game I did when I quarterbacked.
Okay.
I know I've had a good arm, but I just thought I'd probably be rusty. So, however, I shook that rust off.
Wow.
And so we went to do the next possession.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so I don't know how these stats would be said correctly, but from that score, I then scored 10 more times with only one time that I failed.
So you threw 10 more touchdowns. You threw 10 more touchdowns.
I threw 10 more touchdowns.
10 out of 11.
10 out of 11. Correct.
Okay.
And I did that with only one pass interception from the other team.
No, obviously
that was
that's
the
the one
time
you
that I
didn't
missed.
score. Right.
That's the one I didn't score. But every
So
other
basically,
time was first down.
all the
completions.
passes were caught except the one.
That was intercepted by the other team.
I literally threw dimes.
So, or dots, I guess, as they're called nowadays.
Yes.
So what? All right. So, I mean, all right. So there's some skill there for sure. I mean, that's impressive because you're going up against another team, right? At this point, like you're not playing against air, right? You're just
we were self practicing. So
okay,
like
so
spring games.
Okay, so your friends were on defense while you guys were on offense.
It was like 3 or 4 on 4.
Okay, and all right, that's fair. So okay, so they
with
made
the all-time QB
with an all-time
on both teams.
Oh, okay.
That's
so
how
you would
we
go back and forth.
Yeah.
So you're playing for both teams.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. And this is just for practice or whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so
I did good.
So no, that's really good.
10 over 11. That's pretty good.
That's amazing. Yeah. So
it's a great quarterback rating.
And you can't run, right? For touchdowns, you have to throw it.
Yeah.
Got it.
I don't think I'm as good at running as I used to be.
Right. You got to stick up your butt. Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Right.
So in this league of flag football, can they rush the quarterback?
So I don't know.
I'm curious. So the defense can't rush the quarterback.
Like after a certain time.
I know it's like 5 seconds or something.
They can come after
standard.
you. They can come after you.
I think the rule is you can't run unless the dude who's defending you comes after you.
Gotcha. And they probably have to wait a certain amount of time, is my guess.
That happened one time, and I ran past him and scored.
Okay, so you did run.
Oh, you did run for a touchdown.
Yeah, once.
Okay. Gotcha.
Oh,
wow. Okay, so that's pretty impressive, John. Wow. I mean, it's just funny. We were just laughing because, quarterback is one of the, usually have to be one of the most knowledgeable when it comes to football to play that. I mean, I don't know if you agree with that, Paul, but it's
you have to be knowledgeable.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely think I'll be pulling all
the
Lexies
who's
of
calling,
this world.
Are you guys
specifically
actually? Huh? Say it again.
I think I'll definitely be pulling all the Lexies of this world, but specifically the one I have and only her.
Thank you.
Okay. That's good.
Follow your reaction.
So, are you calling the plays? Who's calling the plays? Because the quarterback nobody calls the plays.
Well, I don't know the plays. I just kind of freestyle.
Whoa.
So is it free for all?
So how are you?
What?
How are you not calling plays? How you're not calling plays?
And my guys will call plays for me because I don't know plays. And then when I get
and they're just telling me throw the ball here.
No, they do the hand thing.
They just say, I'm going to go like this. And I'm going to go like this.
I never understand those.
I don't know. I don't pay attention when they're calling.
So basically,
no, I try.
So basically, you just throw the ball.
Yeah.
And pray.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, apparently your prayers are working.
But your prayers are working.
Yeah.
Wow.
But you haven't had a full game yet against an opposing team.
No, that's the thing I'm scared of is we're thinking we're so good right now. By the way, our team name is Space Monkey Mafia.
Nice.
It's just what we came up with. And if you guys would have seen all the suggestions that all the homies came up with, some of us might be in jail.
Good for you guys.
Yeah, the FBI might be on us.
Space Monkey
FBI, open
Mafia.
up.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I should have had that one right. Instead, I have this.
Yeah,
that works.
That works.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
same thing.
But John, that's actually pretty impressive.
I'm
man.
impressed.
Thank you.
We have to watch you play now.
The
Yes.
first game's on first game's on February 4th on a Friday at like 6 p.m. if y'all want to come out.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I might do it. That'd be fun.
Might get a little nervous because you guys are,
Well, yeah, we're big time.
There you go.
Okay, so we've kind of talked football. Now to the main event. Now to the actual
main
the
event.
Super Bowl of this episode. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, Paul is such an awesome guy, and
Yes.
and
Such
you,
an awesome guy. So handsome.
No.
So beautiful. Paul
No.
Ryan.
Stop.
all right, so
You got a stain on your shirt. Made you look. It's
Oh my
Izod.
gosh.
this is a podcast. This is great. So Paul is probably one of the most humble people that I've ever met.
Not like me, as I was over here just gloating about my quarterback skills.
Yeah, well, and you specifically interrupted the podcast to tell people you had a mustache. So there's that.
That never happened.
Oh, it hasn't happened
editor.
yet. Hasn't happened yet.
Editor.
But
Editor.
so Paul is and again, it's just very cool to get to know Paul more on a personal level because he, like I
True.
said, he's just very, very humble. But he has done a lot of cool things, and he's done a lot of really cool projects. And Paul, there was one specific project that you were a part of that I'm excited to, and I appreciate you being vulnerable and letting us talk about it because I think it's really cool. But John, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Does this mean anything to you? Everywhere you look, everywhere the miles. I don't know the words. Again to call back to you. Does that mean anything to you whatsoever?
No podcast jokes aside, no.
Okay, so that is the theme song for a show called Full House.
I know what Full House is.
You know Full House? Okay, with the Olsen twins when they're babies and all that good stuff. And okay, anyways, so it was the show. It was a massive, huge hit. I mean, Paul. I mean, it was like a world phenomenon, right?
It was.
Yeah. So it was what in the 90s? Was it?
Late 80s, very late 80s, early 90s.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha. So huge hit. If anybody has not, they actually made a reboot of it on Netflix recently.
Yes.
Wasn't it terrible?
Fuller House, huh?
Wasn't it terrible?
What, Fuller House?
The new one?
It didn't last long, but I think they stayed on for 3 or 4 seasons.
Yeah.
It was long enough. Yeah.
Okay.
So for anybody listening, it was a very family friendly show about these friends that lived together and they had kids and they would just go through life.
Were they married?
Huh?
Were they married?
No. These are three guys.
Three guys.
Yeah. They're all just buddies that live together. Or did they live together?
They lived together.
Okay, yeah.
And they all had kids?
Well,
The dad did.
The dad did, yeah, just one, but the other two did not, right?
No,
Jesse
they did
and
not. They did. Jesse did later on in the
right. Oh,
in the
that's
whole
right.
thing.
He had the twins.
The
That's
twins.
right.
Was there any premarital eye contact or hand holding in this show?
Oh yes.
No.
Yeah, you can't do it.
No.
Yeah, it goes against your religion.
There's filters.
So, this show again, huge hit, and Mr. Paul. So we'll kind of tie in what that means in a second. But Paul is a very, very, very talented musician, and it's so funny. I could just see him. He's like cringing. I know. It's so hilarious.
He's like, I don't have a good thing to say.
Okay, great. Thanks.
I was gonna try to explain the Doctor Strange moment where he like outer bodies and goes into the thing, but then I was like, it's just gonna sound dumb. That was great timing.
That was good.
Hey, working on it.
So
He's talented.
yeah, so Paul is super talented when it comes to music and a lot of other things too. But so Paul, talk us through.
Oh gosh.
So you
I actually agreed to this.
I know, and I appreciate
I'm-
you doing it.
I'm like second guessing.
I
this.
second guessing,
Plus,
okay.
go ahead.
We
So-
are in his home on his mics.
So Paul grew up. He was very accomplished. Taught music. Apparently, I just learned that, which I didn't know. And so then you moved out to Los Angeles.
That's where I was teaching. in
That's
LA.
where you're teaching.
Yes.
Okay.
So when I graduated from college, I originally went to California for my master's degree. And then I ended up teaching while I was out there.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And then so being out there in the scene, Los Angeles scene, so again, I'm just letting the cat out of the bag. Paul was on the show Full House, and in the show, one of the characters, Uncle Jesse, he had a band called Jesse and the Rippers, right?
Jesse and the Rippers.
So Paul was actually a part of that band and actually traveled and toured with John Stamos was the actor, and they. So we're gonna dive into all that. I'm really excited to ask Paul some questions on it. So all right, so Paul, take us through how that whole thing even started. Just like, was it just some connections that you had made, or how did that work?
Did that start?
So when I came to California, when I went to California, I had a cousin that already lived out there.
Okay.
And his name was Charles, and he knew a lot of people. He was a director. He did a lot of things in Hollywood and stuff like that. That's what he did.
Oh, gotcha.
He got his start on Broadway, and then he moved to California. Blah 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 blah. So when I first got to California, my dad was like, called my cousin and said, you got to show your cousin around. Now, don't forget, we've never really met. We never grew up together. Oh. So I'm pretty sure Charles was thinking, oh, he's a musician and da-da-da-da-da. I'm sure my cousin was thinking, oh my gosh, he could be horrible.
Right.
And I'm sure he did. I mean, because Charles didn't know me, really.
Right.
But my dad called him and forced him and, threatened him to, like, get me.
like legit threatened?
No, legit, like, you're going to do this. And Charles, I'm sure, is thinking to himself, if he's horrible, this is going to go really bad.
Right.
My very first gig, I lived in California for a week. Mm-hmm. And this is how this goes into the Full House thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Very first week I went to California, we were doing a benefit concert at a church. I don't remember what church it was.
Mm-hmm.
And
a part of Full House?
No,
this is completely not. We're not.
This is when I first got to Nashville. When I first got to Los Angeles.
We're at an apartment. We're not at a house yet.
So it was a gig in Hollywood. It was a benefit gig that my cousin was orchestrating. Mm-hmm. And I was a piano player. I'm going to be the piano player. We were doing all these like Motown hits and stuff like that.
I didn't know you play piano.
Oh gosh, well there you go. But here's the deal. So on drums was John Stamos. That's when I met him. So he was a drum. Now don't forget, Full House hadn't started yet.
Right.
He was still Blackie on General Hospital.
Oh, interesting.
His name on General Hospital was Blackie.
Was he?
There's no racial jokes in that whole thing. His nickname on General Hospital was Blackie. We're gonna leave it there.
Okay. That's gonna swim in my mind tonight.
So I met John at that first gig playing drums, and that's when we kind of like started talking. Like, hey, what are you? And I really kind of knew him and didn't know him. I was like, hey, aren't you somebody? Huh. I think after that gig, me and John, we went to Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles and hung out a little bit. But that was fire. But that was nothing. I mean, we didn't think anything of it.
Was he a pretty cool guy? Like with your interactions?
Yeah. So cool. I mean, he was so, I mean, all the girls loved him. He had the hair, the whole 9 yards. Mm. So that, ended. And shortly thereafter, I mean, we hadn't talked for a while.
Yeah.
So this is probably a year or so has passed. He now gets the gig at Full House. Full House wasn't even they didn't know how the show was going to do when it first came out. So I didn't even know. So I had moved from where I was living to Woodland Hills. Mm-hmm. And I don't even know how we actually came into play. I think I saw him around the neighborhood. I'm like, okay, wait a minute, John, what's going on? Mm-hmm. And he lived around the corner from me.
Okay.
Didn't even know. He lived on Mulholland Drive. Mm. And I lived right off of Mulholland Drive. And he literally was walking distance from my house.
What are the odds, bro?
So we kind of reconnected. Hey, what are you doing? I'm doing the show called Full House. Yeah, and I hadn't seen the show, but it was like, oh yeah, that's the show with the kids. And I goes, yeah. So that's how it all started. And that's when I kind of reintroduced myself.
So you kind of, reestablished contact there. And then, so walk me through kind of what happens, because you actually did appear on, was it just one episode?
No, that was 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
By the way, total side note, do you still get royalties from that at all?
None.
Okay, gotcha.
Really?
Not at all.
No, none at all.
Do you still know John Stamos?
You know what? We kind of we haven't talked in years, literally years.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Gotcha.
Call him.
Yeah, on the podcast.
Call him on the podcast. There you go.
That would be a time.
That would be hilarious.
But no. So we had he was doing the show, and And he comes to me and says, "Oh, you know what? They want to write this character that Uncle Jesse's going to start a band on this show. And we're going to start doing music on the show. Why don't you come on the show and do some music be a part of my band?"
Oh.
And I was like, "No."
You
I literally said no.
Really?
I said, no, that's not me.
Did
That's
that
totally
mean
not
you
me.
had to be like on camera?
On camera?
No, he's in the episodes.
Oh, really? You
Yeah.
didn't just play?
Yeah.
You're on the show.
Yeah, I was on the show.
Yeah.
Visually.
Visually. So there
wow,
was
I didn't
4 or
know
5
And he looked
episodes.
handsome. He looked really
No.
handsome.
He still does.
No.
What are you
Yeah,
talking
I
about? I'm
know.
looking right at him right now.
Whatever. There was 4 or 5 episodes that we did together on the show. It was a great band. In this band, some guys that I got to meet and got to know, and they're really cool guys now.
Yeah.
But we did 4 or 5 episodes, and that's kind of how it was.
you do the so talk to me about like how was the process of, because I mean
look this up.
like you should put on the video portion of that, just a little clip if you don't
gosh.
mind, Paul, just
Gosh.
a picture.
I think you can find a clip or two
Sure.
from a couple of episodes. I don't know.
But okay, so you're a musician, you're kind of doing this thing. How was that transition of like, okay, going to a trailer, probably getting makeup and doing all this stuff? Like, what was that like for you? Like, what?
There were no trailers.
Okay.
All of the dressing rooms were in the sound stages.
Okay.
So
Got
I
it.
would hang out in John's dressing room.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's where I hung out at. And, all the guys, we'd hang out in his dressing room.
Yeah.
Until we got a chance to get on stage. And it was really crazy, too, because, we would have to do the rehearsals.
Yeah.
And it was in front of a live audience. So when
really?
when it filmed, it was in front of a live audience.
Really?
Okay, so even the rehearsals?
The rehearsals were no audience.
Okay, gotcha.
We had to, so when we did an episode, it was an entire week.
Right.
So how the episode would go was just the band.
Yeah.
I would actually physically play my parts in a studio.
Gotcha.
Record all the parts. All of John singing if he was singing on an episode or whatever.
Right.
John is handsome. I'm looking at him right now.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he's hair. He's got the hair.
He's there.
He's got the hair.
Yeah.
So we record all the episodes, and then we would rehearse. We would
Yeah.
do the read throughs. We do a read through, and then any extras would not have to do the read through. We would come in later for the actual rehearsal because we didn't have we wouldn't have speaking words.
Right.
And then right after that, then on a Friday night we'd tape the show.
Oh, wow. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, in front of a live audience.
Wow. So okay, so you're kind of now. How long had you been in Los Angeles at this point?
Probably 2 years, 2.5 years at this point.
So, did you ever have any thoughts like, oh man, like this is my opportunity, like this is it, like this is my chance?
I didn't
Like,
want to do
I mean, not
Making it out.
not to like be like a movie star or anything. Don't get me wrong, but like, oh man, all the connections I'm gonna make from this or whatever. It's just gonna blossom into other things. Like, did you ever think that?
Wasn't even thinking about
Wasn't
it.
even thinking about it
Because
Really?
I didn't really. I mean, it was just I was doing it because John asked me to do it.
Gotcha.
That's
So
crazy.
So
Didn't
he
wanna
was
do
a
it.
buddy.
He was a
and
buddy. He was like, "Come on, let's do this." I did
Yeah.
it. I mean, I had other things that I was doing outside of that.
Gotcha.
Anyway, already and kind of working on some stuff.
Oh, okay.
But this was just something on the side.
Some
this
car
was like
videos.
something to do.
Gotcha. So okay, so the so you do a couple episodes, the show just explodes. I mean, just
When we were doing these episodes, the show had already taken off.
okay. So it already taken off. It's already worldwide huge and everything.
Yeah.
So okay, so then you start doing that, and then does John or Jesse and the Rippers, I guess, in this point, did they start putting out singles or anything like that?
No,
Or-
we didn't do anything like that because it wasn't like it was today where you could do a digital single. Everything was still physical. So,
Right.
there was no record labels involved. But what we did do is we actually went on tour.
Oh,
People don't
that-
realize that Jesse and the Rippers actually went on a real tour.
You did too?
Oh, I was with them, yeah.
Whoa.
So
and it was crazy. We would do these tours and we would have to do them like during his hiatus in the show. So we would
gotcha.
do 10 city pockets, 10 cities, another 10 cities, another 20 cities or whatever. And we would do and this is how I knew the power of Full House. I didn't even know because I really didn't watch the show.
Right.
I didn't when all those episodes that I was on. I never watched the episodes.
Really?
No, I didn't. I never.
I
Watched
would have watched them 3 times.
Never
over.
watched it. My mom taped them. I never watched them.
Really?
But with the power of the show, when I realized how big the show was, we would actually play stadiums. Now, if you can imagine the Rolling Stones plays stadiums, Michael Jackson play stadiums. When they said Jesse and the Rippers were coming, he filled the stadium.
So they were selling out.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You would perform in a stadium?
Yeah.
So
Whoa.
I mean, that's when I realized, okay, this Full
insane,
House
bro.
thing is insane.
Yeah, it's like pandemonium. It
was like
frenzy.
it was crazy. It was almost like the way I can relate it to. If you go back in the 60s, early 70s, the Partridge Family was a musical TV show,
right?
But David Cassidy was a real singer who would go on tour,
right?
When the show was not on, and he was doing stadiums. He was doing big arenas. Wow. And that's the only way I could relate it to is like a David Cassidy.
Were you nervous in front of all the people?
No, because I was just playing the piano.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't have to talk.
You don't have to talk. I think I sang a song. That was it. Wow. I think each person in the band sang a solo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What do you remember? What song you had to sing?
I totally do. I'm not telling you.
You sang?
Oh, come on!
I'm not telling you.
Okay.
I've heard you rap.
My song was an Ohio Players song called Fire.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That was my song.
Fire!
No, that's not it.
No.
But I'm sorry. But
Was I close?
what is that? The roller coaster?
That's the same band.
Same band, right?
This was a
right.
song called Fire.
Okay, gotcha. So that is wild. So do you have like a favorite memory or some kind of like cool thing that happened backstage or even on stage? Maybe something cool happened. Like any memories? From that?
Iconic moments.
Yeah, iconic moments. There
I
you
mean,
go.
honestly, just playing in a stadium in itself is iconic.
Well,
That's gonna be cool.
iconic
But-
moments.
Anything specific?
It's crazy. Not really specifically. I mean, I think the funnest times for me were going on tour, was going to different cities and just kind of like, meeting people and stuff like that. I mean, the best part that I loved about it, I mean, his mom was the sweetest person in the world.
Oh, really?
And she would go on tour with us.
Oh, cool.
And I got
Nice.
to meet his mom, and we talked all the time. His mom passed away, I guess, so 5, 6, 7 years ago now. But she was amazing. I mean,
Really?
she was so cool. I mean, that was my fondest memory. And of course,
That's
the guys
funny.
would always try to do stuff. And
Isn't that interesting that his favorite memory of all of that was just having a real nice
Connection.
Yeah. With a meaningful someone who listened, I'm sure.
his mom was absolutely amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And you played in a stadium and that's his favorite memory. That's cool.
Yeah. No, that's cool.
Hey, that mom made an impact on you.
She was just really nice.
Yeah.
So
That's what I'm saying.
Before doing the stadium tour, well, first of all, did you guys ever travel internationally?
No.
Okay, so you was all
It was
states.
all,
Okay.
We did state fairs. We did all that kind of stuff.
Arkansas.
We went everywhere. We went everywhere.
Okay, so you're doing that. So before doing that, what was like one of the bigger, venues that you had played before jumping into a stadium tour?
Yeah. Had you done anything?
That was the first thing. That was the first big thing.
The first big thing.
And other things came out of that later on in life. But
Right.
that was the first big.
Did anything later in life be bigger than that?
There was some bigger things.
Yeah, maybe we can save that for another.
We won't go there. But there were some bigger things.
No way.
There were some bigger things.
No, man, that's so cool. Okay, so you do the. So how long was this whole duration of shooting to going on tour? How long did all that last? Like, what was the time span of that?
You figure the show was like a season or two off and on, and then the tour things off and on, maybe a total of 2 years total.
Okay, gotcha.
2.5 years total.
It's a pretty big commitment.
Yeah.
I mean,
And so during all this time, you were still working on like other projects and doing other things.
I mean, this was, so if I were to say things that came out of this, I did, I had other, things going on, and I don't know if it came directly out of this position, but I was in a position to meet a lot of people.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And from that came other stuff.
Gotcha.
that's beautiful.
So how was so bringing some like cool redeeming value to this. So even though I think it's super cool just to learn this,
Yeah,
and what a cool story and what a cool experience.
talked me into it.
And listen, I do have to say, Paul was very, very reluctant to do this just because he's so humble and he's just go ahead.
You know, it's crazy. I have no hard time believing that is not the coolest of things he's done.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. But no, it's so I appreciate you
Cool.
sharing it because I think this is super cool.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier, and you were a Christian. You came to really know the Lord personally more towards middle school, high school, or whatever.
Right.
So during this whole time, you were saved, living out in LA, and all that good stuff. So. Mm-hmm. How was that? Because I think a lot of people jump to the conclusion or the thought, okay, well, it's LA, it's probably a lot of compromising and all that kind of stuff. What was it like being a Christian, kind of walking through all this, or your experience in that regard?
I mean, I was just being me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't really get into any of that stuff. I mean, I was the guy that kind of stayed in the hotel room and kind of just chilled while the other guys were partying and doing their stuff.
Gotcha.
And that was fine for them, but
chicks.
that wasn't for me.
Yeah.
That just wasn't for me. And they always tried to
I'm sure they did.
They tried to set me up in a whole bunch of different ways, but it never worked.
That's
good.
crazy.
It never
What
worked.
a real dude, never folding.
I know.
That's a real
It
G.
literally, I mean, they were always trying to get some girl to knock on my door and
That's
stuff
wild.
like that, and
set him up.
set me up, and they just wanted to see me, and
Well, I think when we were talking earlier, it's like they just wanted to get you, right?
they wanted to get me. It was like gotcha moment, and I was
Right.
like, yeah, no,
See, you can fold, right? Yeah,
I was like, no, I'm not. This is not for me.
Well, but you know what? That's interesting because that right there, just by not compromising, is a huge testimony, right? I mean, you showed them. It's like, man, this dude really is serious about his commitment to the Lord, and and while we're out doing this, and it's one of those things where you may have not seen the fruit of that or whatever, but that's noticed, right? I mean that.
I didn't. I mean, there was no judgment on what they were doing or anything like that.
No.
It was just
I'm just giving you props because I just think it's awesome. Well, first that you did that, but then also second, I think a lot of people focus on the not saying you were persecuted in the sense, but the persecution as far as okay, well, hey, this person's not doing what we're doing, so we're gonna give them a hard time. We're gonna try to get them. But
and that probably had a lot to do with why they were doing it. I think there was just a lot of just wanted to see what I was going to do, see my reaction.
Yeah.
But I had more probably resistance before I even left to go to California. I mean,
really?
Because and being in Buffalo, just doing the things that I was doing there, home of Rick James.
Mm-hmm.
So, being in the studio with a lot of his people back in the day, a lot of things, you saw a lot of things. And
another podcast,
and that's
Maybe
a whole
not.
other thing. And then when I was in high school, my mom. So I auditioned to be in this band, and I made it.
okay,
I made this band, and I was in high school, and I wasn't really supposed to go to audition because I was so young, but I wanted to go anyway. I was like, I got to audition for this band.
yeah,
So I auditioned for the band. The band they had been around for a long, long time, but they just got their first big hit, which I'll tell you in a second. You'll know what it is.
okay,
So they're like, how old are you? Tell them how old I was. I think I was 16 when I made the band, 17, something like that. And so we're going to come to your house and talk to your mom.
Whoa.
And I'm like, this is not going to work. It's not going to go well. Not going to go well at all. So the band came over to the house. My mom can tell you this story better than I can, but she, the band came in. She talks to them, and they're all there. And the band is Cool in the Gang.
no way. Are you serious?
So I made Cool in the Gang. Okay, so the song that just came out was Celebration.
Oh my god,
It had just come out.
are you serious?
Just come out.
What?
And
Wait, celebrate good times. Come on, dude.
yeah.
song had just come out.
I
And
thought that was
they had
September-
several hits after Celebration
Yeah,
that I
right.
could have been a
I
part
thought
of.
that was Earth, Wind, and Fire.
That was Cool in the Gang.
No, cool. The gang. Yeah.
So we're at the house.
Celebration.
They're like, hey, well, we're going to take your son made the band. We really want him in the band.
Those people were at your house?
They came to the house because they had to talk to my mom. I said, you got to talk to my mom. I'm only 17 years old.
Oh my.
You got to talk to my mom. My mom was like, you're not going in this band. You're not doing this.
She probably made the right call.
Hindsight, she will say she made the right call.
What do you think?
She keeps going, you would have been a drug addict. You would have been this. And I'm like, I wouldn't have done any of that
I
stuff.
don't think you would have been a drug addict.
I wouldn't have done any of this stuff. And she goes, oh, you don't know that. And I'm like, yeah, I do. But I was trying to talk her into letting me do this. And I was like, you can travel with me. She was like, no, I'm not doing it.
Probably
you
the-
can't do it. You got to go to high school. You got to finish. You got to go to college. You got to get a degree, and that's it.
I mean,
Oh, really? She made you go to college?
I wanted to go.
Oh, you wanted to go?
I wanted to go.
Yeah.
so I have a 9-year-old son, and I'm just trying to put myself in her shoes of like imagining my 16-year-old son coming up to me and like at that point, one of the most popular bands in the world,
right.
Yeah.
like is in my living room saying, "Hey, we want your son to come on tour with us." I'm just saying I could completely understand what she's saying. You know,
She said the big
Yeah.
no. Big no.
Right. Wow. So just ask. Like, do you ever like? Oh man, that would have been really cool. Like, you know, that would.
Well, here's the deal. It would have been very, very cool because the guy that took my place, he's not really a friend of mine, but I know him. We're friends on Facebook and stuff like that. He's also from Buffalo.
Okay. Yeah.
So to see his life, I can see his life through Facebook. To see what he's doing, he still travels with Cool and the Gang.
Really?
Yeah, to this very day.
Wow. Okay. So yeah. So he stuck with them for.
He was the second runner up.
Wow. Oh my goodness. That is why. So I didn't know that. I never knew that. That's
Yeah, he was the
interesting.
second runner up. All that to say, that's the kind of
Wow.
crazy stuff that you could actually. That's why my mom didn't want me to.
Man. First, again, Paul. Seriously,
insane,
thank
bro.
you for letting us talk about that because I just think that's so interesting.
You're a well of
legend.
insane,
Not a legend.
legendary
Not a legend.
stories.
But this podcast is very long, by the way.
Oh yeah. Well,
I'm sure. How long?
Listen.
We're long.
Okay, but I will say this real quick before we go. It
was worth
it. I think that was totally worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I know we appreciate you sharing, and that is so interesting and so cool. So thank you.
It's just insane to hear some of the insane things you've done.
I know. That is super cool. But
Well, I didn't do it. So Cool in the Gang. So there you go.
Yeah, but they tried.
yeah, they
So-
try. Yeah. Hey, you were the
turned
guy.
down Cool in the Gang.
I didn't turn it down.
Your mom.
No, that's what I heard.
My mom turned it down.
You said I'm too cool for
If
Cool
I got
in
my
the
mom
Gang.
on the phone right now, she'll tell you the whole story.
Call her up. No,
Will
just
she
kidding.
make
Yeah.
me food too? I'm super.
Huh?
Chitlins? Can I have chitlins?
You don't want chillin'.
Okay, I don't want chitlins.
No, you don't want chillin'.
By the way, that was not a racist joke. That was just because me and Paul had a conversation telling me what those were.
I was educating him on what chitlins were.
Yes.
He had no idea what they were.
No.
There we go.
Or when I told him about it,
Yeah.
He wants to try. Got it.
No, I don't.
he doesn't
You
want to
don't
try.
want to try.
I googled pictures of them and that looked disgusting.
Yeah, you don't want to try that.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. That was a very fun podcast. I really enjoyed that. John?
Well, man, you know, there's a lot of mysteries we still don't know about this handsome fellow Paul Wright.
True.
And today there's a lot of things we did find out. Now I want you to do us a favor. Share this with the world. If we can bring back Jesse and the Rippers, that would be... No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Jesse and
just
the Rippers
playing.
reunion.
Yeah, right. And on the podcast. Well,
No.
okay, no. Anyways, we love you, and we hope you go out and have a great day and follow us and support us. And we love Jesus, and you should too because he's great. And yeah, have a good day. Peace.
Woo!